We all have to start our horsey journey somewhere. From our first ever pony ride all the way to competing affiliated, today I thought I'd talk about my transition from ponies to horses. We all get inspired to ride through different things. For me, my mum has always been horsey, so I'm really lucky to have always been surrounded by them. But it wasn't till I was about 9 where my interest in them really grew. I remember I was at school and I came out of school and there was this skewbald pony who belonged to my friend standing at the school gates, and I fell in love. And I had to prove to my mum that I was really dedicated before she considered getting me a pony. And that pony actually turned out being this pony that was outside the schoolyard. So I grew up around him. He was my first proper pony and I loved him. I learnt to ride on him. I joined Pony Club and I met loads of horse people, and that really sparked my interest into horses. Over the next few years, I had lots of fun learning about horses at home as well as at Pony Club. I remember my mum teaching me to canter with a £5 note under my bum in the saddle, which made me keep my bum in the saddle because if it didn't fly out, then I could keep that £5 note. When I was at Pony Club, I met loads of people that I'm still friends with today. Learned about competing because in Pony Club you get to have Pony Club shows with people just like you, and I met loads of great instructors and it was a really good time. And after a few years, I got my first competitive pony named Dan, who we still have today. We put an ad up for Dan. I had just broken my wrist and we went to view him. I still had a broken wrist. I remember he looked after me so much and we brought him home, and to this day he is still an absolute legend. I've had him 5, almost 6 years now, and he has just been a pony of a lifetime. So Danny, this is him here. He is a 13 to 20 years old now. He's Connemara, but he actually has a really cool story. He was part of an experiment at Newmarket when he was a foal. They were testing on pregnant mares and he was meant to be put down at birth. But luckily, one of the nurses saved him for £20, and 15 years later, he came to us. I've had such an amazing time with him. He qualified for the Pony Club Championships. He won the Gosling Cup as an individual and as a team for the first time in 20 years. The Gosling Cup is like our local area show. He has been national champion 3 times for Riding Club, and he is just an all-round legend. I really cannot fault him, apart from his, occasional Danny moments, which he's a little bit famous for online. And yeah, he is awesome, and I think he knows it too. Daniel has taught me a lot about horses. He is in no means push button. He has definitely told me when I'm wrong and when I need to ride him better. And that has really helped me with my journey in horses because it's taught me to respect them and taught me a lot about their temperaments as well. And it's really probably been beneficial as I've moved on to bigger ponies and eventually horses. After I outgrew Dan, I got my first competitive pony, Prince. He was 14 to Connemara, and he introduced me to the world of affiliated eventing. I did lots of eventing with him up to B105, and he really taught me about frustration and determination and staying on track when you're competing, because it does go wrong sometimes, and it did go wrong lots with him. I had a really nasty fall at one point at Stratford Hills, B100, and then we had to spring back from that because we had area eventing a couple of weeks later, which was going to be the biggest event I'd ever done. And it really taught me how I had to keep my mind on track and not get downtrodden or nervous. And actually we had a really good event at area eventing, and I qualified for the Pony Club Championships with him. And after I outgrew Prince, I got this lovely girl. She's Bella, and she is my first horse. I've only had her for about 10 months now, I think it is, and we've had lots of fun together, and I'm hoping now we can start eventing. At the beginning of 2019, I actually also got Johnny here, and I've always wanted to get a young Connemara from Ireland, and Dad surprised me with plane tickets for Christmas. So we went to Ireland and I saw Johnny, and he was 14.2 when I got him, and I wanted him to remain a pony, but he actually grew into a 15.1 horse, which initially I was pretty disappointing about because I wanted to produce and sell him as a project as a 14.2 pony. But in the long run, I'm actually pretty glad that he grew because it's really helped me in my transition to horses, as it's like having a middle-sized horse because he's not a big one. It means I can get used to riding a bigger horse. Get used to riding a bigger horse without being overfaced from a 14.2 to a 16.2. When we started looking for my first horse, we weren't really sure what we were looking for because it's a bit of a minefield out there. We didn't really have the budget for a really experienced older horse, and I wanted to get a younger one that I could put my own mark on and produce myself, and that was when we came across Bella. Obviously, this comes with its risk itself because she's not very experienced, she's still young, and it's still a learning curve for both of us. And it probably would have been slightly easier with a more experienced horse that knew its job. The trouble we found with the more experienced horses, not only were they out of our budget, most of them, but a lot of them were quite hot-headed, and we're such a family home, we needed something that was really nice and calm, was fitting into our family environment. Bella fit that bill perfectly, and when we saw her, we immediately knew she was the right one. When finding my first horse, we also had to think about the fact that I'm still at school, I'm only 16, and I wouldn't have much time to ride the horse every day. So we wanted something that could be left for maybe a day or two without riding and not be crazy. And as I said, a lot of the horses that are experienced have been ridden by a professional rider who've ridden them every day for a long period of time, which means they wouldn't be suitable for me if that particular day I couldn't ride because I had too much homework or I just wasn't in the mood. I had exams and I was stressed. Also, my mum is amazing and she helps a lot around the yard and helps me with competing and taking me places and is in general the most amazing supporter, but she doesn't ride. So everything that I do with the horses, every time I ride them, every time they exercise, it's always me. So that was another reason that we wanted to go for a younger one rather than something that had been ridden by a professional and was really fit and needed consistent riding all of the time. So now all the competitions have started back up again. I'm really excited to get out with Bella. She has no points still, which means she can compete in grassroots. And that was also another reason that I got her rather than an experienced one, because I wanted to be able to experience the grassroots side of eventing and maybe try and qualify for Badminton Grassroots, which is the big grassroots championship. So I'm just looking forward to having lots of fun. I'm really important for me that I don't put a lot of pressure on myself, and just to keep it fun, enjoy what I'm doing, because you know, if you start not to enjoy it, then that kind of loses the point of why I ride and why I love horses so much. So I'm really excited to get back out and just have lots of fun eventing and getting to know Bella more. The challenge with moving from ponies to horses is that they're very different physically as well as mentally. With ponies, they're very quick on their feet and they can get you out of situations. They're very forgiving, and if you mess up, usually they can sort it out for you. But horses, there's a lot more of them, and you need to learn about their strides, about holding them together and being able to get yourself out of situations that maybe could end bad if you didn't, because horses can't do that as well as ponies can. And I personally did really struggle with that since I'd had Prince, and he was a very agile pony, and also Dan, and that meant they could really easily get themselves out of tricky situations. Whereas Bella, she's a big mare, she's 16.2, and she does struggle with that, and that has meant we have had some tough times. But over the last couple of months especially, I have been really focusing on collecting her, learning how to control her big strides, and making sure we're really working together as a team. I've really found that spending lots of time with her and getting that really good bond has really helped as well, as she's learned to trust me. She's still so young, and it's so important that we have that trust there. We have joined the under-18 programme and been to their training days, and I'm hoping to do some more of those. That's really helpful as well, because you meet the people that are doing the same sport as you and you can get lots of lessons with them. And yeah, I've had lots of fun the last couple of months, especially really getting to know Bella, and I have really felt a good change in her and really started to feel like we are forming a proper team. If you're currently making the transition from ponies to horses and are looking for your first horse, make sure that you try out lots of different horses, because there are so many types out there, and it's really important that you find a horse that is right for you and for your home, as that will make sure that you're happy and the horse is happy as well. If you've already made the transition from ponies to horses, let me know in the comments what you found was the biggest challenge and how you overcame it. Thank you everybody for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did enjoy it, please don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the FEI channel, because Theo and I will be making lots more videos for you guys in the future.